best answer is if your process is good and you qualify, that's going to tell you when to follow up. You know, and a good question would be, okay, so you know that you assume they're not going to buy. It's kind of reverse of what I learned when I first sales, but I understand that they don't always buy right away. Is okay, when will you be ready for the next step, whatever that step is in your process? Ask them, and then I would contact them a little before that. You know, if they say a month, 3.5 weeks, and you can even ask them in today's world because you got so many. You got text, you got email, you got phone, you got office phone, cell phone. It's you know, I've been doing this 30 years. It's a little crazy today. Before it was like phone if you could get them there. Ask them what the best way is. When in doubt, go to phone. It's a rule, I never leave a voicemail more than once. It's interesting language, you know. Yeah, you want to be pushy without being pushy. In other words, we as salespeople, when we're in the selling position, if you're not a pure salesperson, we have to be the aggressor, generally speaking. You know, there's different ways to drive a sales process. The best way is to language it so there's no maybes. It's either yes or no. And sometimes just to acknowledge, like, I can tell, you know, if you like, it shows you're a good listener. I can hear they want to do, I hear you want to do this. Sometimes ask them, what's holding them up, you know. Ask the next obvious question to get a yes or a no. The maybe doesn't help anybody. You know, old school, and it's still very true, and maybe in sales, maybe means no. You know, if you're a good salesperson, usually you hear maybe, you're going to hear no. You may treat them differently linguistically, but in your mind, it's not getting a sale for you. You know, can you spend maybe dollars? Can you maybe help your client? No, you can't do all that stuff. That doesn't work. Be scripted. I'll elaborate a little bit. The first thing is to be scripted. That takes the pressure off you. So if you're not a natural salesperson and you have it scripted, then it's like you know what you're going to say. You're not trying to think of everything on the fly. Now that being said, another real well-known consultant, and I don't know if it was his statement, but he got credit for it, Tom Peters, wrote Wow, and one of the authors of Pursuit of Excellence, says, you know, there's plans and there's what really happens. Well, that's very true in a sales situation too. But the more planned you are, the easier it is to deal with the variations, you know. The other thing is too is, you know, think about what's in your client's best interest. Look at that win-win, that adage Steve Covey made really famous. You know, all these guys they were on the same thing and they weren't sales trainers, but it's the same process. You know, what's the win-win? Okay, I want to do business with them and they want to do business with me. So if they're there talking to you in person or on the phone or even emailing in a serious dialogue, which just happened today, as much as I hate to admit I have closed deals via email, it seems like, well, very old school, you can't do that. They're there because they're interested. That's a legitimate assumption, and it's denying reality to not assume that. Does that mean they're just going to hand you over their hard-earned money and time? No. So, yeah, I mean, script is the main thing because that's going to take the pressure off you. You know, you're busy about being a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, a business planner, and you're trying to figure out how to get the account, and you know you're really good at what you do. I mean, you got to have confidence. So, script it out. You know, it's like you script out your ideal client. Everything's scripted. You know. What you want to find out is what is it they want to think about. You know, they got to isolate it down. I mean, I think about, is it doing business with me? Is it the product? Is it the service? Is it the money? You've got to help them refine their thinking down. What you also will find too, and I know I'm going to sound a bit like a parrot, the better your script is, the less you get that. Gatekeepers, the bile of sales, right? I mean, okay. The first thing is not to look at them the way we think about them like that. You have to acknowledge in certain industries they're there, okay, and you have to treat them like friends and people who know things, okay. So and one definition, it's a Webster's of sales, is persuading. Okay, so you're not going to close them and they're not going to give you the account, right? So you're thinking, well, I don't want to talk to the gatekeeper, right? But here's the reality: they're there, and you don't get through to them, and they don't give you to the right person. You're dead, right? You wasted whatever time it took to think about that account, so on and so forth. So talk to them, get a little rapport. I don't mean take them out to dinner, you know, unless you're working on a multi-zillion-dollar account, and maybe that doesn't work anyway. But create some value for them and you. And if you make friends with them and create a little value for them, maybe it's just taking them out of their routine for a minute, maybe whatever it might be. I don't know specific. They're going to send you to the right person, you know. But you've got to treat them not like an adversary, not old school. That stuff very hard to do nowadays. I won't say it won't work, but it's harder. Treat them like a peer. You know, hey, I got something that can help your company. Here's what it is. Find a way to get a rapport with them.